All right, let's dive into something we've all experienced but probably haven't thought too much about, that powerful, unmistakable smell of a landfill. What is that smell, really? Why is it so intense? And maybe more importantly, what's it telling us about the air we're breathing? Let's break it all down.
You know the feeling, right? You're driving along, maybe the windows are down, and then bam, it hits you. That smell. It's one of the most recognizable odors in the modern world. But it turns out what you're smelling is a lot more complex than just old, rotting garbage. So where does that smell even come from? Well, the story starts deep inside that mountain of trash. The odor isn't just one thing. It's literally a cocktail of hundreds of different gaseous compounds, all being cooked up as our waste breaks down. See, the smell isn't really coming from, say, last week's banana peel sitting right on top. Nope. It's being generated by armies of bacteria working deep inside the landfill where there's no oxygen. This whole process is called anaerobic decomposition, and it's the engine that transforms our solid trash into this incredibly stinky mix of gases. And we can actually group these gases into different chemical families. You've got aromatics from stuff like plastics and others from all the organic junk. But just look at that biggest slice of the pie. 40% is sulfide compounds. These guys are the undisputed heavyweight champions of landfill odor. They are the main reason that smell is just so incredibly potent. And yeah, the science totally backs this up. It's those sulfur-based gases, like hydrogen sulfide, that's the classic rotten egg smell, that are the real culprits. And it's not just that they smell awful, it's that our noses are exquisitely sensitive to them, even when there's barely any in the air. So why are we so sensitive? Well, it all comes down to a concept called the odor detection threshold, or ODT. Just think of it like the volume knob for a smell. For some chemicals, you've got to crank the volume way, way up to notice them. But for these sulfur compounds, even the faintest, quietest whisper is totally overpowering. And the numbers here are just staggering. Seriously, the detection thresholds for compounds like methyl mercaptan and hydrogen sulfide are so incredibly low, we're talking parts per billion levels. That means that even if there are just a few of their molecules floating around in a huge volume of air, your nose is going to pick them up instantly. It's why they completely dominate the landfill smell. Okay, so it stinks. Big deal, right? Well, here's the thing. That foul smell is more than just an annoyance. It's actually acting like a big, smelly signpost for a whole host of other invisible compounds in the air, and some of those carry very real health risks. And this is a really critical point to understand. The compounds that cause the odor nuisance, the stinky stuff, are super noticeable, right? But at the same time, the landfill is kicking out a bunch of other chemicals called Volatile Organic Compounds, or VOCs. And the real kicker? Many of these can have no smell at all, but pose a real objective danger to our health. Often, the worst offenders are the ones you can't even smell. And this isn't just theoretical. The impact is absolutely real. Studies of communities living near landfills have linked exposure to these emissions with this whole range of health effects: headaches, nausea, breathing problems. So these aren't just people complaining about a bad smell. These are recognized symptoms of being exposed to those invisible VOCs. And this is where things get really serious. You can think of this as a most wanted list of the chemicals found in landfill gas. Now pay close attention to that middle column. See where it says Group 1? That classification comes from the World Health Organization's Cancer Agency, and it means the substance is a confirmed human carcinogen. And look where they come from: everyday things we all throw away, like plastics, cleaners, and paints. So what does this risk actually add up to? Well, health agencies have a line in the sand when models calculate that the lifetime cancer risk for people living nearby goes above 1 in 10,000. That is officially classified as a definite risk. That's not a maybe, it's not a possibility, it's a level that demands serious, serious attention. So given these clear risks, you'd think we'd have this all figured out, right? That we'd have strict, clear rules for managing these odors and emissions. Well, the answer is, it's really complicated, because the rules are different pretty much everywhere you go. And right there, that's the heart of the problem. There's no single global agreement on what an acceptable level of odor even is or how you should measure it. So what you end up with is this messy patchwork of local, state, and national rules that are all over the place in how they approach it. And you can really see the different philosophies at play here. In Germany, it's all about the numbers. They literally count the number of odor hours per year. In some US states, an inspector might actually use a special device to figure out how much fresh air it takes to make the smell go away. And then in the UK, it can be much more subjective, often driven by public complaints. 3 places, 3 totally different ways of tackling the same exact problem.
So, no matter what the local rules say, what can actually be done on the ground to control this invisible cloud of gas? The good news is we have proven effective solutions, both in terms of engineering and just plain old smart operations. The primary line of defense is basically a giant vacuum cleaner for the whole landfill. Wells and pipes are installed down into the trash, and a powerful vacuum system sucks that gas out before it can ever escape into the atmosphere. From there, the gas is piped away and either burned off safely in a flare, or, even better, it's used as a fuel to generate renewable electricity. But it's not all about these huge engineering projects. A lot of it comes down to the simple daily stuff. Things like covering all the exposed garbage with a layer of soil every single day, or just keeping the active dumping area as small as possible. These things are absolutely crucial for keeping odors under control. Some places even use high-tech misting systems that spray a fine fog to neutralize the smell molecules right at the source. So the next time you drive past a landfill, you'll know that the smell is so much more than just a nuisance. It's a signpost. It's the byproduct of this incredibly complex process, and it's a marker for an invisible cloud of chemicals that carry real risks. We have the tools and the know-how to control it, but the real question is, as we keep creating more and more waste, is our commitment to using these solutions actually keeping pace with the invisible legacy we're creating?